All Tomorrows, written by C.M. Kosman. A billion-year chronicle of the myriad species and mixed fortunes of man. Explained by an idiot. Elon Musk sends machines to Mars to make it habitable. We colonize it, and after a few generations, the people of Mars had adapted to lower gravity. Earth and Mars go to war. This wasn't like the Star Wars with the cool laser battles and stuff. These were more like when unmanned American drones blow up children's hospitals in the Middle East, but on an interplanetary scale. Billions had died before peace happened. The Martians and the Earthlings designed the Star People to colonize alien planets. First, they tried generational colony ships, but almost immediately they lost contact with them. So they went with Plan B and sent robotic drones with Star People cloning tech. On one planet, the Star People discovered the descendant of an Earth dinosaur, making them realize they weren't alone. Inevitably, they meet the Q. The Q had this fanatical view that it was their right to genetically bumfuck any and all intelligent life they come across. So when they found the Star People, that's exactly what they did. After a few millennia, the Q left to find their next victims. Thousands of Cronenberg humans simply died, but some lived on, and these are their stories. These are the Mouse Folk. They were made from star people who attempted to hide in caves. They did pretty well in their subterranean habitat till they got smushed by some earthquakes. The Bone Crushers showed affection by defecating on each other. They only ate rotting meat and made it to a medieval level society before they ran out of rotting meat and starved to death. These tall boys lived on a moon with 1/5 Earth gravity. They were so fragile that giant chickens killed them all. The Q designed the Mantelope to be memory retainers and to sing songs, so they were allowed to keep their sentience. After the Q left, evolution took hold and the Mantelope lost their sentience, because a smart, sad Mantelope doesn't survive as well as a dumb, happy one. The Star People on one world fought off the Q twice. They were turned into the Colonials as punishment. They subsided off of Q waste products. They evolved into the Modular People, who were more or less piles of organs, each with their own sentience. The Q made some humans into predators and prey. The predators evolved into the killer folk. Their early history had a lot of war, but they invented factory farming, and that led to modern society. The worms wriggled through the dirt, and when they found other worms, it was 50-50 shot on whether or not they'd eat each other or mate. The worms evolved into the snake people. They lived in long tunnel houses and listened to music through vibrations. They also had grabby bits on their tails. The Spacers evolved from star people who escaped the Q by hiding in hollowed out asteroids. They eventually became the Sterimorphs. They grew the biggest brains in space. A single thought of theirs is incomprehensible to humans. The Q didn't change these ones much, but made their brains really small. They herd lizards. Funnily enough, the lizards evolved sentience and used the humans as livestock. The Q made fish people. The fish people evolved into the tool breeders. All their tools were living creatures. The Tempters were basically flesh plants. The men of this species would bring food and gifts to the women to get a chance to crawl into the fuck sack. They were wiped out by an asteroid. The hand flappers had winged hands that couldn't be used for flight or used as hands, but we should take a moment to admire their sack. These ones weren't modified much other than big noses and stunted brains. They had access to all the tech left from the Star People and nuked themselves into the Stone Age multiple times. They also believe that they are the only true descendants of the Star People. Their sun got really hot and they put their brains into robots called Gravital. The Q set these guys up in a paradise with all their needs met and made it so they couldn't overpopulate. After the Q left, some unlocked genes to regain sentience and to breed more. They populated a nearby landmass and became the Satyriacs. These ones used their long fingers to catch fish. They had decided to become smart living boats with tongue hands. The Q made some parasites to torture humans. The parasites evolved into the symbiotes. They switched humans like they were outfits. The insectophagi used long tongues to eat. They took the phrase, "you are what you eat," too seriously and became the Bug-Face Boys. They got attacked by some aliens and became xenophobic. The Flyers were basically winged monkeys with fancy hearts that made them develop big brains and turn into the Parasapien. They developed a society without borders, but they also died very young. The Lopsiders lived on a planet with really high gravity. They looked both up and forward at the same time. They created the asymmetric people to go to planets with less gravity. The asymmetric people killed their flat parents. The Gravitals killed everyone except for the Bug-Face Boys. They used them as subjects for extreme genetic experimentation. Over time, the Gravital society changed, and some Gravitals gave their subjects sentience and fell in love with them. The Gravitals decided to attack the much more advanced Sterimorphs. The Gravitals got their shit rocked and were used as a worker class for the Big Brain Boys. The Sterimorphs started populating planets with humans and put these fetus monsters on them to guide humanity. Some of the fetuses decided that they'd rather rule over the new human species. Eventually, the Sterimorphs were able to contact some double snake monsters, and together they wiped out the Q once and for all.